Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 9, final episode of different divisions having different approaches. That's what we've been covering this entire series. And we're ending with men's bodybuilding, just like women's bodybuilding. Now that we have so many divisions that can pull in different forms of the physique look, different aesthetics, and maybe slightly nuanced differences in conditioning, men's bodybuilding is men's bodybuilding. I don't think that has really ever changed, but we are seeing maybe the top end of what human genetics can handle, even as pharmacologically enhanced as possible. But in the last couple of years, what are you seeing from the drug-free side on the amateur and pro side to the NPC and the IFBB? What do you see the entire trends heading toward, Adam?
Yeah, if I were to guess where the future of this is going to be, I think we're going to see a lot of top drug-free pros being in classic physique. And I feel like that's what natural bodybuilding kind of is. It technically is classic physique to me. And I love that. And that's nothing to take away from natural bodybuilding. I love both sides of the sport. But in a grand spectrum, when we compare, like, I guess I want to say college basketball to NBA basketball, if we put these guys in the NBA, this is where they're going to be. And I think that should kind of always be our standard, and we should always take a step back and say, okay, this is what our sport really is. I think they should get rid of classic physique and natural bodybuilding, because it's just a bodybuilding crossover is all it is, essentially. It just kind of seems dumb to me, and I'm sure I'll get blasted for that, but that's just honest truth. But like you said, there's all these chemical differences now, and I think the introduction of growth hormone was very highly impacting on the sport, and who knows where it's going to be in 10 more years. I know we're finding a lot of things about just using injectable L-carnitine and things like that, helping people store more glycogen. All these small things we're finding are going to add up on a big level. So it does seem kind of capped, but I think all of a sudden we're going to see this explode, and we're going to start seeing guys who are shredded at 320 or 350. Also, the popularity of the sport, I think more people are kind of finding their calling. Like, where the heck did that big Ramey guy come from? I mean, that guy is the biggest guy I've ever seen. There has to be someone like him lurking somewhere that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah, and just speaking of the difference between natural and not, on the natural side, you have those genetic freaks. You see them. You see people like a Doug Miller or Martin Daniels, or even on the lightweight side, so like Brian Whitaker, and you could say, man, with 2 years of PEDs, you could be on that Olympia stage and probably a threat to win it. You've got those genetics, maybe even better. But then you throw somebody's height. I don't know if you remember all the way back, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, a Muscle Tech supplement company sponsored athlete, Greg Kovacs. He's one of these guys who, he was probably 6'5", 6'6", like some of the strong men, Brian Shaw. So he shows up at, like you said, 360, 380 pounds. And it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, it looks like two competitors were glued together. But in terms of the overall look, I'm still seeing that there's not much matriculation between, they still want the most muscle mass, get your conditioning, well enough to where the glutes are shredded. You're still going to have that Phil Heath, Dexter Jackson type conditioning, but with the most size and symmetry. I mean, that's somebody like Jay Cutler, who you could argue didn't have necessarily the greatest symmetry, but there was a lot of size everywhere and not necessarily weaknesses anywhere.
Yeah, I think a good matchup was when Sean Roden did take down Phil Heath. Just seems like purely because of abdominal symmetry and having the smaller waist. And it was a close match. Phil had, as always, a huge back. And I said, if Phil wins, it's going to be because of that. If Sean wins, it's going to be because of symmetry. And I was a little cautious about saying that because this is the extreme. Does symmetry really matter? And I think we take two different extremes, small waist versus big waist. It actually does matter, because when have we ever seen an Olympian in the past, 8 years with a waist that small? That was definitely a very big extreme. And even if Sean had competed against Cutler, his waist would look way smaller compared to his. So I think when you're battling extremes, sometimes those small nuances can make a really big difference.
And for the guys leading up to that level, I mean, you may be in the NPC or one of the natural federations, and you're just trying to get that pro card. That's where you need to focus on just your overall best package. So, you may not yet be there on a size level, but you still need to make sure you're lean enough. You still need to understand you're going to be standing next to guys with just unbelievably shredded glutes. And now it's all about, can you peak well? Can you be full enough? Are you staying hydrated? All the things Adam and I talk about with keeping sodium in and just to maintain that full, healthy muscle tissue look for an entire contest day. Those little things matter, especially standing next to guys that have advantages in some areas against you on almost every level at every stage. You just got to make sure that you are taking care of every single variable yourself.
Yeah, I still always agree that nutritional foundation is always key, no matter what you slam on top of that. You got to be fueling yourself properly, and chemically that can change some of the things you might need. You might need more protein with certain things versus other. And I think that we always need to express like how important nutrition is. And then here's some other small things that can help you that can really add up.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's call that an end to this series. Thanks so much for investing all the time in all 9 episodes. And Adam, you as well. Always a pleasure. And we will catch you next time in Contest Prep University with a new topic in a new series.